Now Courseplay is pretty fantastic, and you can use it to manage harvesters as well, and there's a lot of features there. There's a whole totally new video, but we're just going to use the standard worker who just goes up and down and harvests, and that's about all he does. That's all he knows, that's all he understands. So he's ticking away quite nicely. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see his current fill level, which is at 7%. Now 30% effectively on this field occurs when it gets to the end, turns around and comes, say, a quarter of the way back. So if we keep an eye on the old tractor over here, we should see that when we reach 30%, he jumps into action. Here we go, so we're at 24% now. We just need another 6% and it should trigger the tractor to come and empty the combine for us. 30% now, and the tractor's moving. Perfect. Isn't that wonderful? Now you notice there that he's driven across the field there. If that was full of crops, that might be a bit of a frustration for you. But like I say, Courseplay doesn't allow damage to occur to the crops, presumably because they know that kind of thing will happen. Now, the whole point of having Courseplay is so that I can effectively set these guys up and say, I want that field harvested, get on and do it, and I can nip over and go over to field 38 all the way over the back there and start picking up straw and just leave these guys to it. And pretty much that's exactly what we can do. Now, when you're first setting it up, it's always a good idea to watch them through and make sure there aren't any conflicts or issues before sort of leaving them on their own. But if you do leave them on their own and they have an accident or get stuck or have a crash or who knows what, then just above the map there on the left, the mini map, or we might have a conflict here. I think that tractor might be in our way. Oh, it's going to be tight. Now if we do have a conflict, a message will pop up just above the small map. He says, but we don't. Interesting. Okay, I suspect that is because in the harvester we have a helper. So if the harvester was being controlled by Courseplay, then that wouldn't have been an issue. And I've never seen that happen before. So, and I've done this quite a lot of times today. So you're privileged to see that error. One thing I forgot to mention actually, before you click drive course, is a good idea to start course at. And I always go first waypoint because current waypoint, nearest waypoint doesn't seem to work for me. Don't know why. I'm going to try current waypoint and click drive course and see what happens. Perfect. Okay, so I believe he's active now, and what he hasn't done is drive the route and offload at the silo, and I didn't really want him to do that, so I'm quite happy. Let's see if there we go. 30%, obviously the harvester has reached its 30% limit, and he's going to go drive round and help unload that combine harvester. Now this time I'm fairly confident that instead of driving round and parking in his way, he's actually going to park somewhere useful and not be in the way of the combine harvester. So let's just see if that happens this time round. You'll notice that the combine harvester doesn't stop whilst it's unloading, it carries on, but when it reaches the end it does stop. And I think that's a default Farming Simulator 2015 thing. So if we were on a massive field and it reached 30%, almost immediately, then it would just keep going. It wouldn't keep stopping all the time, so the process would be very smooth and very, very carefree. As you can see, this time he's actually parked somewhere sensible and will not get in the way of the combine harvester, which is wonderful. So let's go jump back in the combine without getting mashed to bits. And you can see that we've completely emptied the combine harvester, and we're at 6% fill level. So it's going to take 90% fill level before that tractor will go and empty at the silo. So let's just give him a little bit of time to achieve that goal. So there's the tractor activated. We've hit that 30%. He's going to swing round, unload the harvester again, and when we reach the end here, we'll jump out and we'll jump in the tractor. There we go. And as I said to you earlier, 30% seems to work perfectly well, but I'm considering dropping it down to 25 so that we're not right at the end each time when we catch up with the harvester. I don't know how well that will work, but that's what Courseplay is all about. It's about tweaking and modifying and making things work better. Now, you got to keep an eye on these guys because, well, let's jump out and into the tractor. Sometimes I think we're going to have a fence moment here. Yes, we are. Now, he's basically got confused there, hasn't he? He doesn't know where he's going. He's driven into the fence. And you can see just above the map on the left that H488 number 1 is slipping. And that basically means the wheels are going round, but he's not going anywhere. So right click to bring up the Courseplay control and stop the driver. Now, that means we have control of the tractor, so let's back it up and drive him into the field where he should be. We're at 74%, so on the next load we should have enough to trigger the offload at silo maneuver. So let's just click current waypoint, drive course, perfect, and close that down again. Now, sorry, I've done this exact video, not the same words, but the exact video, the same process, 6 times today. I may have already mentioned that. My mouth is incredibly dry, so if I'm a lot, I do apologise. And I haven't had this many issues in any of those videos, so I can only guess that I'm tired and I've done something differently this time that's caused that. But at least the good point of seeing all these errors is that you get to see what they look like, and then you can sort of look out for them and start thinking outside of the box when you're developing your own Courseplay routes and trying to avoid that from happening. So once again, if you look in the bottom right hand corner, you can see the fill level is currently at 74%. Oh, and in green you can see the harvester fill level is just coming up to 50%, which is quite cool. So when our trailer hits 90%, he won't drive off. Rather, he will wait until the harvester has finished emptying or the trailer has reached 100%, at which point he will drive out of the way of the harvester and park up and allow the harvester to continue its work. And it's at that point that the trigger telling the tractor that he's at 90% fill level will activate, and he should drive off to the silo and empty all of the trailer. Let's see if it works. See, that's what he should have done last time, is turn right, but he seemed to get confused and turn left. Now, there may be a way to resolve that, and if I find that solution, I shall share it with you. So there we go, the trigger has come, he knows he's over 90%, so he's going to drive this tractor to the silo, and we'll go with him just to see how he gets on. Also on the map you can see in yellow CP. That indicates that that current vehicle is using Courseplay. So if you get an alert pop up saying that this tractor is slipping or is in traffic or some other error, you can just bring up the map and fairly quickly identify whereabouts on the map he is and go to his aid. Now, I'm actually quite okay with that, especially I'm considering things from the perspective of ultimate realism, and if you were a farm manager, that's what you'd do. If there was an issue, you would leave the job you're doing and go to where the issue is and resolve it. So I'm quite happy to have that solution applied to our farm. I think it adds to the realism, because things don't always go swimmingly on a farm, and if you've been watching the episodes you'll know that for a fact. So you can see whilst this tractor's been dropping off at the silo, the harvester is still going, and because we got quite a distance to go before we reach the start-stop point, we will not get to the harvester before he turns around. Now, because we've got Pathfinder turned on and the pipe will now be on the side of the crops, the tractor will not initiate its go and collect procedure. Rather, it will wait for the harvester to reach the end and turn round, so that the pipe is then facing away from the crops. Now, the caveat to that would be, if the harvester reached 100% fill level, then the tractor's Courseplay would override itself and drive into the crops, not damaging them, I hasten to add. Oh, he's off, look. That's interesting. Wasn't expecting him to do that. Well, that is odd. He hasn't done that before. I've no idea why he's doing that. That is most odd. So you're probably thinking everything I tell you is a lie right now, and I can't blame you for that. Everything I'm saying appears to be the complete opposite is happening. And I assure you, having done this video so many times today, that has not happened once. So I'm in shock that that's happened, if I'm quite honest with you. But it has happened, so let's move on. Now, it looks like he's going to drive through the crops again, which is something he never does. I would re-record this video if it wasn't for the fact that I've recorded it so many times already, and that everything that's happened really never happens. So this is just one of those random one-off moments, and I know that when you try it out yourself you probably won't get any of these problems, but sometimes you do. So at least I've warned you in advance that it might happen. Okay, so I'm going to leave these guys and hope that they can actually sort themselves out and do a proper job, which they've not been impressing me very much in this video, which is a shame. And I'm going to go grab a tractor, because to pick up the straw that's on 38 and now 24 and soon to be 29, we need to go pick up the pottinger, which is currently stored down by the cows. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't have any issues with Courseplay whilst we're doing that. So jump in here, lower that down, and then we can get out and detach, if I can remember the button. There we go. Goodness me. The brain is giving up. 7 hours of talking, 7 hours of farming simulator, 7 hours of video and audio editing, starting to break down a bit. Okay, so as quickly and efficiently and smoothly as we can, let's go pick up the pottinger, bring it back here so that we can use it. I think what we'll do tomorrow is try and use Courseplay to see if we can't have the straw picked up automatically as well. Obviously these are features that just simply do not exist in Farming Simulator 2015. So Courseplay, the chaps at Courseplay, the people who've worked on it, the chaps and ladies and whomever, my hat goes off to you, and I'd like to extend 100% gratitude and appreciation for your effort and your work and making it available to all of us Farming Simulator fans. Thank you so much, and I'm sure anyone who's got Courseplay on their farm would equally like to give you a little round of applause. So that's a one-handed round of applause for you guys, because you genuinely deserve it. Thank you so much. So yeah, tomorrow we're going to see if we can't pick up straw using Courseplay, and then that system can be automated as well. If you've been watching my series a lot, you'll have seen me pick up the wheat and unload the harvester and pick up the straw a good 2 or 3 times now at least. And whilst I appreciate that this is a working farm and that's what needs to be done, I am seriously looking forward to being able to utilise Courseplay to do these jobs so that we can focus on other things like the cows and the silage and trees. We want to do some tree felling, and there's lots we want to do, but we just can't do it at the moment. Goodness me, I can't remember a button to save my life. There we go. Sorry about that. Right, as carefully as I can. I think I've dehydrated my brain. That's what it feels like right at this moment in time. So we'll swing wide, make sure we're not going to catch the pottinger on the inside of the door, which I think we've just managed to do. Right, check for traffic. That's a nasty corner, that. We should be okay. So we haven't had any messages come up on the map or around the map, so I will assume that Courseplay and the harvester are playing nicely and harvesting away whilst we're off doing another job, which is exactly what we want it for, and really brings a whole new dimension to the whole Farming Simulator experience. So here we go. So for those of you who are new to the channel and new to the episode, hello, welcome. This is Farming Simulator 2015, and we are running this farm with ultimate realism. That means we're making it as real as possible. The normal working day is from 7 AM until 5 PM, although on occasions we have been known to work right through the night till 2 AM in order to get crops harvested and money in the bank, because as you can see we're still quite poor. We've got 5,600 in the bank. And that brings me on to another point about Courseplay, and you can see this field is ready now. Another point about Courseplay, the formidable number of options that are available to us. Let's see where we are. Where's the tractor then? They're just offloading now, look. Fantastic. And I suspect that the tractor is fairly close to being 90% full, so he may well disappear off and drop that off at the silo, but we'll see what he does. I'm a bit concerned about which direction he's going in at the moment. He better not be going off down the cliff. What is he doing? Oh, okay, he's just stopped. That's fine. So what we don't want to do is park in his way, so let's go park over here next to him. I'm not sure that sentence made any sense, but I know what I mean. Let's go park over here out of his way as best we can, with the option of accelerating out of his way if need be. So let's just go see how full that trailer is, because it looks pretty full to me. 86%, so it's just 4% off needing to empty that. And I think possibly the harvester's going to reach the end before he accumulates 30% fill. So we might need to move on. Yes, let's move on. So, sorry, I got distracted there. Courseplay allows you to either pay or not pay your workers. So obviously we're going for ultimate realism, and we will always pay. And they earn about $1,000, I think, for every half an hour of real-time work. Now, one of the mods we're using, which I've forgotten to apply today, is Real Roll mod. Okay. Now you can see that the work is finished, he thinks his job's done and he's gone home and that's it. He won't have put the handbrake on, and this combine harvester would have rolled down the hill and would be down there somewhere. He's done it many times today. Fortunately for us, Courseplay, sorry, is smart enough. There you go. Courseplay is smart enough to apply the handbrake after he gets out. So when we're in another tutorial, we'll use the harvester via Courseplay, and then you can see how much better that is, and that's a million times better than the Farming Simulator default as well. Right, now this bit is quite cool. I am going to start this harvester off on a different field, and I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to tell anybody anything's happened. I'll just set him off over there, and that is that. Now I'm going to leg it back to our tractor over here. And get into gear, drop the handbrake. I've discovered, by the way, that every time I change the handbrake, I also change the direction I'm driving in. Now, I removed that once, and somehow it's back on, so that's what the problem is. But look, do you see? The tractor has sprung into action. He's come flying down here to empty the harvester, which is at 30%. Isn't that wonderful? And we're working on a completely different field now. And yet he's still quite happy to go. Now, I suspect, I've got a sneaky feeling he's going to come around the wrong side of the harvester here. That's what it looks like he's doing. So Pathfinder, for some unknown reason, doesn't seem to be working very well today. It's possible that the harvester is so full that it's overriding itself, but I've not seen it do that before. It's a bit annoying that it's doing it on my 7th video of the day. But it's a small issue. It's a small issue. So Courseplay works fantastically well on fields and maps where the field is enormous and there are very few, if any, close by conflicts. By that I mean anything that the tractor can drive into, like a tree, a fence, a cliff, a building. Okay, so we've got another alert. Let's see if they can sort themselves out. Yes, they fixed themselves. So sometimes when the alert comes up that he was in traffic there, he's going to go empty that trailer. Cool. So sometimes when the alerts come up, they're smart enough to actually fix the problem themselves, and you don't have to get involved. But just here on this field, we've had quite a few issues down in that corner there where the fence and the trees are. So I'm hoping that's not going to happen, but with everything else that's happened in this video, the chances are it's definitely going to happen, and it'll probably happen more than once, and I'll have to go and intervene. But it's 4:15 now, and we have a kind of a tradition in Sim UK's farm that when there's a lot of somewhat tedious work to be done, we speed it up and put some tunes on. So there's not much more for me to say. I'm pretty tired, so I may have missed some points. If that's the case, I apologise. If you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. If you have any suggestions, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. And please like the video if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful, if you'd like to see more. Please subscribe if you want to see any other videos from our channel. We try and put a farming video up every Friday, and I'm soon to release a schedule for the afternoon releases, which will be 12 o'clock every day. There's a bit of an issue this week because of the problems I've had with my PC. I've lost quite a lot of content. So this week the schedule's a bit out the window, and I apologise for that, but we should be back on schedule next week and everything should be working just fine. I'm recording this video right now, and I won't know until I stop recording whether or not it's worked. And what's happened 6 times today is that the video has been less than 5 minutes long, or had no audio, or both, and I won't know that until I finish the video. So my fingers are crossed that this one's going to go out to you, and that I don't get to video 8. Thank you so much for watching. See you again soon.